Hello everyone, this is Jag. Well, in this video I'll cover how to grow lots of peaches, nectarines and plums like these. So let's get started. Peaches, nectarines and plums are a must to have in your backyard. Even if you have just 2 trees in your backyard, they will produce enough fruit for your family to enjoy all summer long, and you will have a lot of fruit to give to your family and friends as well. Now, when it gets to growing peaches, nectarines and plums, the very first thing you want to do is select the variety. You have to determine which zone you live in and get the varieties that grow well in your zone, because it all depends on chill hours. These peaches, nectarines and plums, they need to go dormant over the winter in order to set flowers and fruit the next season. And that depends on the number of chill hours that they get during the winter. Now the chill hours are number of hours you get in your region that goes below 45 degrees Fahrenheit, between 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 45 degrees Fahrenheit all winter long. Some of these varieties require 300 to 400 chill hours, so make sure you have enough chill hours in your zone to support the varieties that you're growing. We are in zone 9, so I'm growing varieties that grow well in zone 9. The next thing you want to look at is whether you want to grow freestone or clingstone. Now freestone peaches are when you cut them open, the flesh does not stick on to the pit. The clingstone do stick onto the pit. Now both varieties have excellent flavor. Some people like freestone, others like clingstone. Now a rule of thumb, if you want to just eat them fresh, it doesn't really matter. You can just eat freestone or clingstone. However, if you want to be processing a lot of peaches to bake or to can them, it's better to have a freestone variety. So it's easier to get the pit out so you can can them, process them, or make peach jam or peach jelly, make cobbler or any other things with the peaches. Now there are yellow peaches and white peaches. There are also yellow nectarines and white nectarines. I personally prefer yellow peaches and white nectarines. These nectarines are delicious. They are like honey. When you bite into them, they are pure sugar, so it's a treat eating them. We actually have them for dessert after dinner every night. All of these fruits are considered stone fruit because they have a pit in the center. All of these fruit includes peaches, nectarines, plums, apricots, plum carts, pluots, and apriums. Some of these varieties are hybrids of apricots and plums. Now, peaches and nectarines are self-fertile. However, apricots are not. So you must plant 2 apricot trees to have a better yield. Or you can get 1 tree that have 2 different grafts on it. If you want to know the varieties that I'm growing, check out the video in which I mentioned we planted 500 fruit trees. The link is in the description of the video. Tip number 2, full sun. All of these stone fruits, they love sun and they require 12 to 14 hours of sunlight in the summer. That gives them the classic taste and the nicest fruit you can ever have. So plant them in a space in your backyard that receives full sun. Tip number 3, watering. Now cherries love water. They love the moisture in the ground. However, peaches, nectarines and plums, they like the soil to dry out just a little bit before you start watering again. They love well-drained soil. Now it depends on the type of soil you have to determine how much you need to water. I have a separate video on how often and how much you should be watering your plant. That depends on multiple factors including temperature and the soil type that you have. So check that video out if you're interested. Now I have clay soil here. So in winter I don't need to water at all because the rain provides enough moisture for the trees and the trees are dormant. However, in spring I just water once a week for about 2 to 3 hours at a time. And then in summer I water 2 to 3 times a week, about 4 to 5 hours at a time. And my sprinklers provide 4 gallons an hour of water. So in the heat of summer, when temperature goes above 100 degrees Fahrenheit, I water about 40 to 50 gallons per tree per week. Number 4, fertilizing. Now we are organic and we do not use chemical fertilizers and chemical pesticides. So we use organic fertilizer. The fertilizer that I use is organic chicken manure fertilizer with the NPK ratio of 4:4:2. Now I apply about 4 to 5 pounds per tree per year. I usually fertilize my trees in the winter because all of this fertilizer gets really mixed in with the soil and breaks down to the soil with the rains over the winter. And the nutrients are already in the soil when the tree needs them the most in spring and summer. Number 5, pest management. Now the pests do attack peaches as well, and one of the pests that really attacks peaches a lot is a peach twig borer. It's a little worm that gets into the peach from the top, from the stem, and digs its way down into the pit and attacks the peach. Now we are certified organic and we do not use chemical pesticides. So we use spinosad and BT spray. Both of these are organic options that you can use in your garden or in your backyard to deter and even kill the worms and the caterpillars. I have a separate video on how you can get rid of worms and caterpillars in your your backyard. So check that out if you're interested. Now bear in mind, the organic options are not as effective as chemical pesticides. Even if when we use BT and spinosad spray on our trees here, we still lose about 20 to 30% of our fruit to pests and worms. Now that's why organic costs more. Well, in my opinion, it's better to eat a peach with a worm than to ingest chemical pesticides. Absolutely delicious. My great-grandfather lived to be 96 years old, and he taught me a lot of stuff. And the one thing he used to say that he will never eat a fruit or a vegetable that's sprayed with poison. And that stuck with me. That's why we don't use any chemical pesticides or poison on our trees, on our fruit here on our farm. I have a separate video on the teachings of my great-grandfather, so check that out if you're interested. Birds love these peaches too, and they are actually coming over and eating the peaches as well. We put this reflective tape to deter the birds, which works most of the time. It's not foolproof, so we need owl decoys, hawk decoys, reflective tape, and other measures to deter the birds. So it's a constant battle. We lose few to the birds, but we are growing in harmony with nature. Number 6, pruning and thinning your stone fruit trees. Now you want to prune your trees when they are dormant in the winter to actually see which branches you want to keep and which you want to get rid of. The main rule of thumb is that you want to have 3 or 4 main branches and keep the center open. This encourages light and prevents mold and fungus. Now during the summer, you can lightly prune your fruit trees to acquire the shape that you desire. However, you don't want to prune too much during the summer, and you definitely don't want to take off branches that produce fruit. In spring, you must thin out the fruit on your stone fruit trees. That means getting rid of at least 40 to 50% of your peaches, nectarines, plums, and apricots. So the rule of thinning is that the fruit should be at least 4 to 6 inches apart from each other. So this has to go. And look at this one. These two are very close to each other. So I'm going to actually take off the fruit that's on the far end of the stem. So this has to go. If you do not prune them, the tree will produce a lot of fruit, enough so that the branches on the tree start to break. It produces a lot more fruit that it can handle. So the best way to have the fruit is at least 6 inches apart, like we have here. I don't have too much fruit that's close together. Look at the size of these peaches. They are like baseballs. Thin fruit will be much bigger in size than the fruit that is not thinned in spring. And tip number 7, harvesting, which is the favorite tip of all. You want to harvest a fruit when it has this reddish, yellowish hint to it. And if you let the fruit ripen on the tree longer, it will be much sweeter. You can actually harvest it earlier and then let the fruit ripen in brown paper bags and still eat it. However, if you let it ripen on the tree, the taste will be incredible and out of this world. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you can grow lots of peaches, nectarines, plums, apricots, plum carts, blue hearts, and all the stone fruit you like. And I'll see you in another video.